Stephen Miller's the mass architect. We for those that aren't aware, he was, his America First legal team was behind Project 2025. He's the one that I say is pulling the strings at the White House. He's been super involved in MAGA and has been a reason why it's gotten to the point that it has. He has been the consistent within the Trump administration. When you look at who's there the first time and who's not there the first time, the one that is there, or who's not there the second time, the one that is there is Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
He stayed with the administration. So let's take a look at what he has to say and how they're trying to use this instance of political violence to achieve their political ends.
And let me tell you something I've not shared with anybody, but the last message that Charlie Kirk gave to me before he joined his creator in heaven was he said that we have to dismantle and take on the radical left organizations in this country that are fomenting violence. That was the last message that he sent me before that assassin stole him from all of us. And we are going to do that under President Trump's leadership. I don't care how. It could be a RICO charge, a conspiracy charge, conspiracy against the United States, insurrection. But we are going to do what it takes to dismantle the organizations and the entities that are fomenting riots, that are doxing, that are trying to inspire terrorism, and that are committing acts of wanton violence. It has to stop. And my message is, to all of the domestic terrorists in this country spreading this evil hate, you want us to live in fear? We will not live in fear, but you will live in exile. Because the power of law enforcement under President Trump's leadership will be used to find you, will be used to take away your money, take away your power, and if you've broken the law, to take away your freedom, Sean.
Yeah, after that assassination, I kind of told myself that I was going to try and tone down my rhetoric, but that guy's just evil.
Yeah.
And he is, it's not like this is like something new, right? I mean, there's old videos, and I think you have one too that you sent me, kind of talking about what he was saying, what to do to people, right? Or how to kind of treat people.
Torturing people.
Torturing people was okay because it sends them away with a thing of okay, well, I'm not going to do this again.
Yeah.
But, it's just, he's, I don't even think he would lie to you if you said, "Are you a racist?" I don't even think he would deny it.
No.
Right. So he's just an evil person, and again, right? He's another proven liar. Like he said in the what was it in the 2016 election that they were bussing illegal immigrants in to kind of votes from other states. There's no proof of that.
No.
No. But. Whatever they need to do, and I will say this is the worrisome, right, for me, is how are they going to use the situation to kind of do it? And he's kind of talking about it right here, right, is, we're going to go after people. We're going to go after this. We're going to do that. And but he doesn't say who these organizations are or what they are or is, right? And as far as we know, this was one individual acting alone. We don't have any more details. And this needs to go out there, right? We don't know his affiliation. The one thing that we do know, right, is that he wasn't affiliated with any party.
Yep.
But they're going to keep pushing this agenda that this is the left, this is the Democrats, right? This is who did this, and it's not true, and it's dangerous for them to kind of do that. There's no, like I said, right? This guy is. The other thing I was kind of thinking about this weekend too, right? Where they kind of want to push the Antifa is the crazy leftist, Antifa.
Yeah.
Those people are just crazy. And they're not affiliated with the left. They're not affiliated with the right? They want anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself a Democrat. I consider myself, we'll say, kind of left of center. That doesn't make me an anarchist.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me want to get rid of government.
Yeah.
These people aren't affiliated with the Democratic Party. They're not affiliated with anybody.
No.
They just want chaos. And guess what? There's people on the right that want the same thing, right? They want chaos. They don't want law and order. They don't think things could get any better. So let's just blow all the shit up.
Yeah.
And kind of, they want it to be like that movie right there where everybody... was it Judgment Day? What's that movie where they kind of go out and you can kill people on
The Purge.
The Purge, right?
The Purge,
They'd
yes.
rather have it like that, right?
Yeah.
The Purge, where just survival of whoever can survive.
Yeah.
Right.
No, absolutely. That I feel like it goes back to what we were saying with trying to categorize people and like trying to say that, if they're this, then they must be a Democrat. If they're this, they must be Republican. These are individuals. They are people that are responsible for the decisions that they make, irrespective of even who they decide to affiliate with and say that they are affiliated with,
Again, right, it's you can't just throw a label on somebody because they are this or that, right? And so therefore they must be this.
Yeah.
It's not true.
No, it's not. It's not. And again, the ultimate result is political division and political polarization. We know, again, by studying history, something that it feels like the Trump administration is repudiated. Like they just hate it. They'll throw up if you mention history in front of them. But we know that polarization and political polarization leads to political violence, whether that's political polarization coming from the left or coming from the right. The end consequence is the same. So to me, it just seems so... I feel like it gets to a certain point of like not even just being fruitless, but like it becomes harmful. It becomes purposefully malicious at a certain extent. And like you're saying with Stephen Miller, I think that is his purpose. His purpose is to try to create political instability so that he can justify taking down democratic organizations, or for that fact, like organizations that just don't agree with strictly MAGA. Because that's something, too, that I think people are going to start to realize. Right now, it is the rhetoric targeting Democrats and targeting, leftists. But eventually, the rhinos are going to be next. The ones that Trump calls so-called rhinos are going to be next.
Right.
And eventually, it's going to become a small group of just like, you're either 100% beholden to Trump and what Stephen Miller whispers in Trump's ear, or you're out and you're not a part of America.
It can never be... we don't want it to be either with us or against us, right? Like the one thing, this is the United States. We have a Constitution. We have the First Amendment, protecting, freedom of speech, right? And these things have got to be honored. And right? There's going to be people of different religions. You're going to have, Christians and Jewish people and Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, and they should all be respected, right? People are not always, you're not always going to agree with everything somebody says, right? But I think part of that, we have to kind of accept that people are going to say, things that you don't agree with, right? And it shouldn't be that, okay, well, let's throw away the key because I don't like what they're saying, but I don't know. It's just, we've got to get to this point again too, right? Where this was a horrible thing that happened. Not just the Charlie Kirk shooting, the assassination, but the other shooting that happened that day in Colorado. Schools are continually getting shot up, but look, the real leaders are going to step up right now and kind of create peace and create calm and kind of not fan the flames. Stephen Miller's not a leader. It's nobody I would hopefully ever want to serve under or work with. The real people are going to try and bring calm to the situation and kind of bring peace, right? To bring people together.
Yeah.
Not to divide the nation and divide it, right? And so, and that's what we need, right? We need people to come together and talk through their differences and kind of realize that they can go. Today I went to the George Washington campus to go talk in front of a legislative politics class that they invited me to. And I was there for about an hour and 20 minutes. I was only supposed to be there for an hour, but we ended up going speaking longer. But I did tell them, I'm hoping, I know there's a Democratic student group here and I know there's a Republican student group here. And I'm hoping you guys can come together and just kind of talk about things, meet together and maybe even come together and not talk about politics.
Yes.
But join together and kind of learn about each other and kind of learn about what the needs are and how you can kind of work together. Don't let this situation divide you. Come together and figure out how you can stop it.
Yeah. It's funny because the classic or the example that I think of when conservatives are trying to, and you know what, to be completely honest, we've mentioned a couple times here on the show, leftists and progressives and Democrats, they do this as well, where they try to make a whole group of people seem, or one individual representative of a whole group of people. But I feel like the place where that happens the most in the defense that you hear is within police and within policing, where it's like one bad apple doesn't spoil a bunch.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting that conservatives can recognize that, because I do acknowledge that as well, right? It's not just one police officer is not going to be indicative of an entire police force.
Right.
There can be systemic issues that result in, police officers doing certain things, but that doesn't mean that every single person in that police force is what that one individual was or what that one individual did. And so seeing them not reciprocate that same logic to minority communities, to trans communities, to migrant communities, essentially to anyone that doesn't look or sound like them or think like them for that matter, is just, I think, plays into this idea that I'm starting to see. And I think that a lot of Americans are starting to see, where it's one side, I mean, the irony in this statement, but one side is trying to divide us. And the other side really is trying to, I think, find a way forward. I mean, even the term bipartisanship. I feel like I have heard so many more Democrats over the past year, or since the Trump administration, mention bipartisan efforts and trying to be bipartisan or passing bipartisan legislation. Just don't hear that as much, I feel like, from conservatives as I used to. Working on the other side of the aisle was one of these ideas that you would hear all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that could just be the nature of the beast, right? They're in charge. Democrats are in the minority. So, in order for us to kind of get things done or want to get things, we need to work in a bipartisan manner. I feel when I was in Congress the first time, when I first got elected to Congress, Democrats were in the majority in the House. And, the Democrats had the House, the Republicans had the Senate, right? So there was a need to kind of work together, amongst Democrats and Republicans in order to get something done, right? And it worked. We passed appropriations bills. We were able to fund the government. We got things, done. Right now, it's I think what you're seeing, right? There's not a lot of effort on that, and there are some that feel like, well, why we're in the majority? Why do we even need to talk to Democrats? We're just going to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
Right. So it's unfortunate, but I think in order to kind of pass, they tried to do a continuing resolution like at the end of the last Congress, right, to kind of extend things, right? And Johnson and Jeffries got together and they worked some stuff out, and there was put forth a bipartisan piece of funding bill to kind of go and to fund a lot of stuff, and that would kind of provided for different things. But people, I think Elon Musk was one of the ones who too kind of went into an uproar, like, why are you even doing this? This is crazy. The reason they did that is because that's how things kind of work, right? And that's when things kind of work best, right? A Beautiful Mind, right? The main character of that movie, came up with game theory, right? He kind of helped develop that, right? But it's kind of doing these things. It's like everybody kind of, not looking out for their best interests, but kind of looking out for the best interests of the group. And kind of that's how you can actually kind of achieve things and get things done in a better manner. Is that, you're not going to get everything you want. You're going to have to give something up, but you are going to get this. And in the end, it's going to be better for everybody if both sides think like that, rather than everybody kind of just looking out for themselves.
Yeah, looking for the mutual benefit is the way to move everyone forward, as opposed to just prioritizing your own individualism. And on that note, I think that that's the perfect conclusion to wrap this episode up on. Obviously, there's a lot of dividing going on in our country, but I think to move forward, we have to look for ways to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, right. And look, violence is never acceptable, and it should never, ever be an answer for anybody to think that somehow if you eliminate something, this group or this individual, that it's going to make things better. It doesn't. It just makes things worse. And I hope people kind of think about this, right? But we do need to kind of find a way to come together and work together and kind of move together forward as a country to get past this and really, you know, work together to make life better for all of us and not just a few people.